required for business is street smart sense or a common sense, which I lacked. As a result of which, although 20 years of business and entrepreneurship gave me a lot of insight and experience, I made very silly mistakes. As a result, my creditors started pounding. The bankers, the credit card companies, and institutions which had lent money. I was almost choking or suffering. And at one point, I almost wanted to contemplate suicide. Now, every day was a torture. And my wife noticed that only on Wednesday evening, I used to come back with a smile. She found it funny, not funny, she found it a bit fishy. She said, every day you come home as if you're going to the gutter, but on Wednesday evening you come back with a smile. What's cooking? Is there anybody in your life? I said, I'm not that lucky to have all those things. But I told her, Wednesday evening, I go to a club called Toastmasters Club. I'll talk to you more about this a bit later. And this is essentially a club for public speakers. In fact, Chennai has many Toastmaster clubs. In fact, they have one in Tamil also, Solvender Club. Tamil Utru Solvender Club. I'll give you more information a bit later. And there, every meeting, I used to invariably get the best speaker prize. So I told myself, throughout the week, I'm a zero, but on Wednesday evening, I'm a hero. Then my wife, she's just a BA graduate. She's not attended any B school. She said something that changed my life. She said, why don't you find something to do with Toastmasters? I mean, public speaking, something related to this, something related to public speaking. I'm not worried if you don't make too much of money. At least I'll see a smiling face on you. I think she was unknowingly talking about core competence. And my father also added a lot of encouragement for me when he came and said, when the whole world called me a failure, my father was the only man who supported me, apart from my wife, of course. And he said, I was known as Kumar at home. My father said, not just to console, he made a very important statement. I'm sure all you entrepreneurs will agree with me. He said, Kumar's business has failed, but Kumar has not failed. I think that was a statement that completely changed my life. Yes, I had failed in a field which was not my core competence, but I proved him right, because when I took up training, when I took up teaching in the past 15 years, I have traveled to over 20 countries, got some of the best of clients, a visiting faculty at some of the best of Indian management schools, and clients are willing to pay what I ask for. Not to talk to you about boasting, but I took that change, that important factor of change at 45. I sold my car. I started roaming around in a kinetic Honda scooter with 300 rupees per hour for my lectures. And from that, I reworked myself. So I have learned to embrace change in my life. And that's perhaps why I feel I'm quite competent to talk about something at least. Now, let me also tell you, I have no easy answers. Please don't think I'm some kind of a magician and I'm going to tell you from today. Yeah, I think there are some comments. Let me just to break the monotony. Oh, great. We have some Toastmasters here also. Pravina Jagdish from Chennai, Jagdishan S from Coimbatore Toastmasters, and Abhita Ganesh Prabhu from Towering Speakers. Wonderful. You will never regret this. I'm sure those of you in Toastmasters already know that. And for a businessman or business person, communication is going to be a crucial skill, and Toastmasters helps you achieve this in much better manner. Great, great to have you guys here. So, life finds a way. Don't forget. So, in spite of all the negative news that is being pumped up, believe in this statement and you will start finding ways to overcome. Now, not all change management initiatives are very, very drastic. Some can be very simple when we talk about change management. It's just that it shifted to the seventh floor. Not a big, but there are some change management initiatives which are drastic, which can cost your life also, like this one. Not a good stage to be in, right? You jump with the sandwiches and not the parachute. Between these two extreme changes, our life has many, many ups and downs. You must have faced that in your business. But today, what we are facing, I think the umpteen number of thought leaders must have told you, is something unusual, unexpected. And this is where the challenge of the human race lies in, can we find a way back? And I'd like you to take a good look at the next picture. A caterpillar telling a butterfly, you have changed. The butterfly says, we are supposed to. நம்ம வடிவேலு பாஷையில சொல்லணும்னா மாறித்தானே ஆகணும். It is a compulsion. Kalathin Katayam, or whatever you call that, you can't forever be thinking about your caterpillar stage. You have to change, and that is maybe Corona is going to lead you into that stage. I'll leave this slide for about 10 to 15 seconds so that you can go through the entire slide, and later I will start discussing, because I don't want you to listen to me and also read. On the x-axis, over a period of time, on the y-axis, you have morale and competence. Now, whenever a disaster strikes, it could be personal, it could be social, it could be business. I am sure you will agree that the first feeling that you get is shock. How did this happen? I mean, you're simply stunned by everything. Suddenly, one day you're told, don't get out of the house. I mean, don't leave, put everything here. And this happens all over the India. For the first time, I don't know whether you have faced it. For the first time in my life, at least, I have seen that the railway has come to a complete halt. Right? The first is shock. The second is disbelief. Is this happening to me? Is this happening in our country? I thought we were all insulated from these things. Why is this happening to me? And you constantly think this cannot be us. For example, Chennai was known to be a dry area when you had this flood which completely upset the lifestyle. And there were many who were sitting on the top of their terrace and wondering, is this my city? How can this happen? And then now, after 21 days of lockdown, I'm sure many of us are getting frustrated. And the frustration varies from person to person. For the elite, for the people who are sitting at home, The frustration is you're not able to order your favorite dishes through Swiggy and you have to simply eat whatever your mom cooks. But for a vast majority of the people, hunger is the most dreaded disease. I read an incident recently where a gentleman opened his door and he had a lady and a 6 year old daughter knocking the doors and saying, "We are not beggars, we are workers, we don't have work, and hunger is killing us. Please help us." And the person who tweeted this says, "I never thought I'd live to see such moments." So, frustration of the extreme kind. And for entrepreneurs, obviously, business has completely come to a standstill and you don't know what to do. The stories that we are hearing from Tirupur or from some, take for example the Manapare, where it is famous for a simple thing like Muruku, where 200 or 500 families depend on that on a daily basis, and they have completely gone out of these things. So, how do I manage this? This obviously leads to depression. People who have some savings, they think they can tide over, but as time passes, the depression happens. Now, the one thing good about the human mind is we are not going to stop. Now, you start experimenting, and that is the crux of today's talk or today's discussion. Now, I want to quickly ask you to respond from this curve. How many of you are in which stage are most of you in? Probably, I'll complete the curve, then ask you for the response. Experiment is, you say, okay, I know that I can't do anything till May 3rd. What should I do? That is the experiment. Learning how to work in the new situation, feeling more positive. You look at what railways are doing. They started, revived the parcel trains. Now, ICF in Chennai has started manufacturing a lot of PPE equipment and so many other things. So, and small businessmen are using their lathes to produce something which will be useful for the corona crisis. And finally, you integrate and say, so what? I can still make things much better. For a trainer like me, although I'm not able to meet my trainees face to face, I have realized that this is an excellent medium, and I've started offering my courses for public or for a select few. So, which means in and some of my friends say we are now busier than the regular time. அப்ப விட இப்பதான் நான் பிஸியா இருக்கேன்னு சொல்றாங்க. So I want to pause here and ask you, at which stage are you in? And very briefly, in 1 or 2 lines, can you tell us how did you overcome some of the bleak areas like shock, denial, frustration, depression, if at all, so that it will be helpful for our other friends also. Take about 2 minutes. Which stage are you in right now? Or how did you overcome some of these stages? Or what kind of help are you looking for to overcome which stage? So please make use of the chat window and I expect you to respond. I repeat, here is we have paused a bit and I want you to take a good look at this curve and let me know at which stage of this curve are you in right now. And okay, Abhita Ganesh Prabhu says, I'm in the decision stage. Wow, that means you overcome the sad stages. Shiva Bridge Placement says, experimentation stage. I think that's what all of us should get into. Jayanti Rao says, I've changed from BC. Okay, 1 second. Even I forgot what is BC now. Okay, I'll get back to you and ask you to expand that. 2C. Okay, Pravina Jagdish says decision making and moving forward taken to online teaching for schools, a slight diversion from main products, but extremely rewarding. Wow, you're doing something wonderful. I mean, teaching the young minds who they also need to be occupied. Sam says, I'm still experimenting. Wonderful. Kumar, decision. Car passionate dealers say decision. Senthil Kumar says experimentation. Experimentation. Raghuram says payment for employees to be done. Need 151. I don't know what kind of stage is that. I don't know. Okay. Utpal says experiment. Ramani says I was quickly able to move to decision stage as the company I worked had good training, helped me to set up a trough plan from day one starting my business. Excellent, excellent. We are going to come to that now. How can organizations help their employees? Naveed says integration, decision. Okay, okay. I understand there, Jayanti. I have changed my online business from B2C to B2B to B2C. Okay. Michael Judy decision B2C to B2B. Okay, fine. Decision making. Santosh says I'm a startup founder working in the diagnostic. Now I'm experimenting by acting as a trader for face mask, N95 mask, PPE, and earning. Oh, great. This is something great. Santosh AS is also, I believe, a member of TIE, and TIE members can help him get some contacts because he's manufacturing all this. Santosh, I think you should send in your profile to the TIE organizers, Pravina and Priya. I'm sure they'll put you onto a lot of useful contacts. Excellent. I think this is the way. Uh, I'm in experimental mode, just overcame depression, need to move strongly. Yes, thank you. Why I asked you to interact was at least the others will know this is not meant only for theory. There are people going through all this, and you are not a human being if you don't go through all these stages. You cannot say I'm Gautam Buddha and I'm impervious to pain and pleasure. No, unfortunately, we are all made of flesh, so we will go through this. And so from Tirupur area, Senthil Kumar says, I'm from Tirupur and anyone needs PPE kits or masks, I can help. Excellent. Please come through the proper channel. I'm sure our friends and members will be willing to help you because you're caught on to the right kind of model, business model, which is going to help you. And no wonder that Tirupur, they're known for resourceful people of Tirupur are very, I think that's the only place, correct me if I'm wrong, at least in Tamil Nadu, I find Velaki all Vendu. I think this is a common, what do you call, urban legend. Yeah. Okay. So the point is acceptance of the fact that we will have all these stages. No point in saying, oh, why my life has become like this. Now, this Kubler-Ross model has been researched interviewing thousands and thousands of people who go through different types of change, not just business, but also physical, mental, health related, business related. This is some information for you. Now, I teach a lot of organizations on change management, and I largely get inspired from the ultimate management guru called John Cotter. Sorry, I would urge you to pick up any book from John Cotter because he's a leading advocate of change management and he has helped so many organizations turn over the times. And this is one book I think all entrepreneurs should pick it up. Our iceberg is melting. If you want to know how do I survive and how do I overcome change, you must pick up this book. And of course, I mean, you just type John Cotter and you will find that You have a lot of books by him. Please take time to read this book. It will get you a lot of concepts, and you will also feel what people in other countries with similar problems are doing to overcome the crisis. Again, I'll give you 5 seconds where I want you to go through this, then we will discuss. Sorry, there was no poor audio. I had muted the audio and the video because I wanted you to read. Yeah. Now, what John Carter says is it requires leadership and management, irrespective of the size of your company. Your company, your organization may have 5 people, 50 people, or 500 people, or 5,000 people. The concept is the same. So, so what does management do? Planning, budgeting, stock taking, inventory management, forecast பண்றது, how to send materials, controlling and problem solving. There is a fair amount of predictability because இதுதான் ஒரு மாச கணக்குல வருஷ கணக்குல this is what is going to happen while running your business. But leadershipங்கிறது ஒரு தொலைநோக்கு பார்வை. Do I have a forecast? So to bring about change in your organization, both as an individual and in an organization, I think all business owners, especially the entrepreneurs, காலையில எந்திரிச்ச உடனே உங்க காஃபி சாப்பிடும்போது are you asking this crucial question? Am I relevant today? Will I be relevant tomorrow? Will I be relevant 10 years later? Will I be relevant 15 years later? Now, if you don't ask this question right now, believe me, very soon you will go out of business. And this requires a keen sense of, yeah, as Karikalam rightly says, don't be satisfied with the status quo because you never know how things are going to change. Now, I'm sure some of you must have listened to these lectures organized by MMA, Madras Management Association. Last week, I was listening to an excellent lecture by Mr. B. Ramesh, the joint managing director of Tanga Mile Jewelry, which has got branches all over Tamil Nadu, and I think their turnover is around 1,500 crores or plus or something. அவர் வந்து நம்ம எளிமையான தமிழ்ல he was telling us the progress of his organization. Since in the beginning, he had a small shop on a busy street in Madurai, and one day he was walking along with this kada paiyan, shop executive or salesman or whatever. He was walking along with him, and he saw that many school girls were also walking along with them. Now, in his area alone, there were 3 schools, 3 girls, exclusive women schools, uh, just opposite his stall or somewhere near his shop. So it seems he asked அந்த கடை பையன்கிட்ட, உனக்கு என்ன தோணுது? What do you think when you see all these girls? And that it seems the boy said, yeah, we seem to have many girls' schools nearby. Uh, After some time, he again asked, what do you think of this? He said, it just shows that more and more girls are studying, which is a good thing. Earlier, they never used to be sent out. Now they are studying. Again, he asked the same thing. Abhita, you got the point. I'm coming to that. Abhita got the point much earlier than. Even third time when he gave this reply, it seems he said, அப்படி இல்லடா, இன்னும் 3-4 வருஷத்துல these girls will become complete their education and they will be ready for marriage, which means they are going to buy gold. Now, do we have the capacity to cater to so many customers? Don't we need to expand? What should I need? What should I do to expand? I should have a larger showroom in different locations. We have only 3 schools only in this location. But if you step out entire Madurai city, there are so many. So how am I going to cater to these customers? And very simple thought, how do I expand? And that's how he says he started improving his business. So don't think you always need a crisis to manage change. Every day, that's why I said, are you asking yourself this question? Am I relevant today? Will I be relevant tomorrow? Now, for example, as a trainer, if I say that, no, I have to be looking at my audience and speaking, I need to have face-to-face contact, then I will be out of business. In fact, I got used to this webinar 3 years ago because I worked for a large IT client and they told me, we are only going to have essential training face-to-face. மற்றதெல்லாம் நீங்க இப்படிதான் பண்ண. I didn't even know what this was. And I was frankly frustrated because I couldn't see anybody and I have to speak in front of the system. It came to such a point that I told my wife, இன்னைக்கு ஒரு training இருக்கு, I need a good set of dress. She said, எப்படி இருந்தாலும் சிஸ்டம் முன்னால போய் கத்த போறீங்க, யாரும் பார்க்க போறது இல்லை, இந்த ஷர்ட்டை போட்டே போங்கன்னு சொல்லி it became a joke for her. But I had to manage, I had to adapt, and that's why I still survive today. Otherwise, I would have been out of this. I think this is applicable to every kind of people also. சாதாரண grocery store எடுத்துக்கோங்க, நம்ம அண்ணாச்சி கடைன்னு சொல்றோம்ல தமிழ்நாட்டில், அந்த மாதிரி. நான் இருக்கிறது பெங்களூர்லங்க. Near my house, there are many provision shops. பட் ஒரு ப்ரொவிஷன் ஷாப் வந்து ஒரு மார்வாடி நடத்துற, ஒரு ராஜஸ்தான்ல இருந்து ஒருத்தர் நடத்துறாரு. அங்க என்னன்னா விலை கொஞ்சம் கூடுது, ஆனா பொருள் எல்லாம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ். அந்த மாதிரி டேஸ்டும் அந்த மாதிரி குவாலிட்டி எங்கேயும் கிடைக்காதுன்னு என் ஒய்ஃபே சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஏன்னா அவங்க எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் பிரைஸ் கான்சியஸா இருப்பாங்க. அவங்களே பிரைஸ் கான்சியஸ்ல போய் வாங்கினா எல்லாம் வயிறு தான் கெடுது, திஸ் இஸ் எக்ஸலண்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவன் வந்து he asked me to அப்படி. ஆனா அவன்கிட்ட என்ன பிரச்சனைன்னா, எப்பவும் கடையில கூட்டம் இருக்கும், always crowded, and he never used to give any preferential treatment to anybody. He'll say, wait, I can't cater to 1 or 2 customers. Today it has completely changed. He is ready to supply even 100 grams of say tur dal or whatever to my home because things have changed, and he's quite okay with this. He specifically got 3 or 4 boys from his native village, trained them to speak in Kannada. So what I'm saying is, even before all this happened, people started adapting. So which means you need both in your system. That's what I mean to say. When I show this slide, there are many people who say, No. What you're talking is good only for multinational corporations. Nangala, we are all small and medium. I'm sorry. Every organization worth its name needs this. You need leaders at this every level. Leadership is not only for the owner or something like that. உங்களுக்கு இந்த விக்ஸ் வேப்பரப்பை பத்தி தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். விக்ஸ் வேப்பரப், ஐ எம் ஷூர் there is not a single household which does not use விக்ஸ் வேப்பரப். அதோட மேனேஜிங் டைரக்டர் இந்தியாவில் he started the operations in a small room in Mumbai. He had ஒரு Anglo-Indian receptionist, 2 or 3 sales guys, ஒரு security guard called Kambli, yeah. The the manager's name was Gurcharan Das. இப்போ ரிட்டையர் ஆயிட்டாரு. A very famous thought leader and excellent writer. In fact, you must read his book called Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? It's a great book. Anyway, now I'm sorry, that's not the title. I forgot the title. I'll give you the right title in a moment. So what he says is, in his office, a small office, once this Anglo-Indian lady was actually pregnant, so she applied for maternal leave. So they had to find a replacement for her because she was attending all calls. And those days, it was that exchange, and the sales guys would go out regularly, and she was almost the lonely person. They were trying to, so the Gurcharan Das said, we have to release an ad. And then it seems Kambli, who was just a security guard, who said, sir, I'll manage for some time. And the manager was shocked. Are you sure, Kambli? He said, yes, sir. In fact, I always assist madam when she goes for lunch or something. I do all the stationery, everything. So I'll manage. Please give me a chance. Much more than his qualification, his interest somehow impressed the manager. And those days, it was very difficult to get people immediately for the task. He said, okay. So Kambli, a security guard, started managing. So what happened? Within 2 days, one of the important customers call பண்ணார். யாரையா வச்சிருக்கிறீங்க ரிசப்ஷன்லன்னு கேட்டார். who's this guy manning your reception? Now immediately Das started shivering and said, I think we made a big mistake because Kambli must have messed up, and that is why this customer is calling me early in the morning. I mean, the first thing in the morning. He said, sir, why do you ask? And then he said, என்னப்பா இது, nowadays within the first ring அடிக்கிறதுக்குள்ளாரியே அந்த ஆளு போன் எடுத்துடுறாரு. Who's this guy? I'm so happy. முன்னெல்லாம் when that lady was there, third ring, fourth ring ஆனா கூட she will not answer, but now it is instant. Who's this person? Needless to add, the manager was so happy. So he called Kambli and said, hey, இந்த மாதிரி கஸ்டமர் மேல, I mean, he's so happy. எப்படிப்பா, why do you lift it even before the first ring is over? Naka, it seems in Marathi, I don't know the exact words, but what he said was, sir, there may be a customer on the other side. There may be a customer on the other side. Very, very important. என்னதா இருந்தாலும், you never know who the other person is. And Das said, this security guard has taught all of us a very important lesson. If every one of us thinks that whenever there is a call, there may be a customer on the other side, we lift the call with the same kind of attention and enthusiasm, I don't think any customer will leave us. So he was an exemplary leader in the sense he was a role model for others. So தயவு செய்து, don't think this is meant only for CEO இல்ல business owner, அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இல்லை. நீங்க ஒரு ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ல சாதாரண எம்ப்ளாயியா இருக்கலாம், but you can still become a change leader because people are watching you. And I'm sure you will agree, people follow what you do and not simply what you say. Your actions are much more powerful. That's why I came on such a. Ah, now, once again, I'm going to take a small pause here and ask you a question. You may be a business owner, you may be working in an organization. My question to you is, இப்ப இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு crisis வந்துருச்சு. You have been asked to change. What will make you change? What qualities இதெல்லாம் இருந்தா நான் ஈஸியா சேஞ்ச் பண்ணுவேன்னு how will, or I'll ask you, let us say you're all working in a company. What will make you, what will influence you to change your behavior and mindset? இப்ப corona வந்தாச்சு. After the corona crisis, we have to take some tough decisions. So people will say, இப்ப ரெண்டு விதத்துல இதை டீல் பண்ணுங்க. First thing is, you are an employee. உங்க என்ன பண்ணாக்க நீங்க சேஞ்ச் பண்ணி, that's number one. நீங்க suppose you're a business owner, you have to enforce this change with your employees. நீங்க எந்த மாதிரி சொன்னா these people will change. அத கொஞ்சம் chat windowல I want you to quickly type in your answers. What are the factors that will influence you to change your mindset and behavior? இதெல்லாம் இருந்தா I will change easily. Or the second part is, if I am the business owner, what will I tell my employees so that they will easily change? I'm just giving you 1 or 2 minutes for the responses to come in. Don't think there is no audio. I've just muted myself and waiting for a couple more responses. I'm muting my audio, okay? Okay. Let me just read out the response. Thank you, Varadarajan. Varadarajan says, humility with people and acceptance that all are affected. So it has to be looked with empathy. On the dot, Varadarajan, empathy. நீங்க அவங்கள தங்க தட்டுல தாம்பாளத்துல தாங்கலைன்னா கூட, does my boss understand my problem? That is important. Very, very important. இப்ப என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, people are very, very skilled. எல்லாம் எக்ஸ்பர்ட்ஸ் இருக்கிறாங்க. பட் மற்றவனுடைய ஆதங்கத்தை, are you able to understand the pain point of your employee, of your customer, of your friend, of your children? That is important. Excellent, Varadarajan. Venkat Ramani says, employee sense of insecurity. How do I overcome that? அதுக்கு ஒரு assurance கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா I'm more likely to change. Excellent. Abhita Ganesh Prabhu says, I will change because I want to lead to growth. It is in my own interest. I know that இங்க இருந்தா நான் suffocate ஆயிடுவேன். So I will do it. Car passionate dealers, empathy and trust, very, very important words. If the employee doesn't believe you, if he thinks you're just making use of him playing a pack of cards, then nobody will be willing to change. Excellent. Venkat Ramani, from the owner's perspective, possible circumstances and how bright the future looks like. Excellent. This reminds me of a company called Sasken Systems in Bangalore. It's an IT company. They were voted as one of the best companies to work with around 2000, 2001 and the timeline. It was Not a very famous company, but it shot to the limelight because you remember after the Y2K crisis, after that, there was a crisis in the software industry, and many people were getting laid off just like that. No questions, no explanation. You go to the office, and suddenly you find that your system is not working, and the HR will send a cryptic note, sorry, you're no more wanted. It was that bad. What Safkan did was they called all the employees to the courtyard, and Rajiv Modi, I think his name, Rajiv, he said, look here, friends, we are going through a crisis because we don't have any projects in hand. That is the status. You also know that. But we are not going to sack anybody. What the management has decided is the top management, the top leadership will take a 60% pay cut. The mid-level management will take a 40% pay cut. The next set of managers will take a 30%, and entry level and above, we will take we will have a 20% salary cut to tide over the situation. But when the situation improves, we will get back to the status quo. We are not forcing anyone. If you feel this is not a reasonable offer, you can leave, but this is the offer we are giving you because we don't want to treat you like expendable. And do you know what the attrition rate was? Less than 1% or something. I don't remember the exact figure. And that is why that was voted as one of the best companies to work. Transparency. More importantly, what will my employees do if I suddenly throw them out? And that is important. Since Gautam Prageet also says empathy, and Santosh says, as an employer, I ask my employee to change because his or her change determines the change of the fate of the company. Exactly. A company is not made up of just machines. It is made up of each and every one of you. And that is important. C. Praveen. Change is the only constant. Okay. Chendil Kumar says, as an owner, I will tell them you have to adopt changes, and change alone will help us to tide over since I don't want to fire anyone. Continuous improvement. Great. Continuous improvement, you will get incremental, will lead to incremental changes. Okay. Kumar Subramanian says, give them confidence. Do more personal connect with stakeholders. Excellent. Take each day as it comes and short-term visibility. Invest more on good employees, team on training, new ideas, and empowerment. This is absolutely, I want to give you a salute, Kumar Subramanian, because in many companies, the first budget to cut is training. They say we don't have budget for training because we are not doing well. But what Kumar Subramanian says is, it is in these difficult times that we have to give training for our people. Excellent. Michael Judy, accept and educate, present and future. Magesh also says, pay salary on time. Vijaya Bharti says, make sure all the people to be responsible. Employee will also realize the pain of the owner, and boss will educate them in proper way, present situation and things. Excellent, excellent, wonderful, sir. I think I'm very happy with the response because you have understood how to manage this crisis through emotional things. Since most of you have talked about empathy, I thought I must give you my own example of when I received empathy. In fact, that person gave me a new dimension to empathy. Now, December 2018, I was invited as the keynote speaker for the Rotary International District Conference in Mangalore. Udupi பக்கத்துல இருக்கு Mangalore. I was put up at the Goldfinch Hotel in Mangalore. 9 o'clock is the meeting. 8:30, I find that My coat button had almost come out, hanging loose, about to snap off. I was the first speaker and I thought it would be a major embarrassment. So I rushed down to the front office. ரிசப்ஷனுக்கு போயிட்டு அங்க ஒரு பொண்ணு இருந்தாங்க. She saw my tension. She said, what happened? I said, I have a meeting at 9 and this button is almost coming out. She said, don't worry, just hold on. She called up housekeeping. அவனுக்கு என்ன பிஸியா இருந்தானோ தெரியல. இல்ல, I don't think he was interested in coming just for one button stitch பண்றதுக்கு. I don't think he was interested. அவன் முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கான் போல. She saw my, she said, sir, you just go and sit. I'll come back in 2 minutes. அவங்களே மேல போய் அந்த ஸ்டிச் பட்டன் நீடில் நூல் எல்லாம் வாங்கிட்டு வந்து she got my coat out and she was stitching the button. அவன் பக்கத்துல இருக்கிறவன் ஒரு பையன், அவளுடைய கலீக், அவன் கேட்கிறான், hey, why are you doing all this? This is not our job. அதுக்கு அவன் simply she looked up at him and I can never forget this response. Sir has a meeting at 9. அவ்வளவுதான் சொன்னான். அப்படியே அவ வேலையை பார்த்துட்டு she handed me the coat. I was so happy. And அப்பதான் அவளுடைய பேர் கேட்டேன். And she said, Shraddha. Shraddha. Those who know the meaning, I'm sure you'll appreciate. Shraddha means dedication. And even in that hurry, I said, I want to congratulate your parents for naming you appropriately. God bless you. வந்துட்டேன். அன்னைக்கு கான்ஃபரன்ஸ்ல my topic was influence without authority. Tell me, what better example can I start off except this? So, என்னுடைய prepared text எல்லாம் தூரம் போட்டுட்டு I started with Shraddha's example. Needless to add, it got a wonderful applause. சரி, எனக்கு வேற வேலை இருந்தது. So I pushed off the same evening from the conference venue. I went off to Bangalore. போன வருஷம் I had to go to Mangalore again for some other work and I was put up in Goldfinch Hotel. And Shraddha வந்து, she was again in the front office. She saw me, came rushing to me and said, sir, நீங்க என்ன சார் சொல்லாம கொள்ளாம போயிட்டீங்க. I was trying to contact you. You know, after that Rotary Club address, மறுநாள் காலையில 20 Rotarians came and complimented me for my service. It seems you spoke about me. Not only that, I was awarded the best employee of the month for that month. Not only that, my family and I were sent on a 1-week all expenses paid holiday to a resort in Goa. Thank you so much, sir. நான் சொன்னேன், இல்லம்மா, there is nothing to be surprised. I am not at all surprised. You are really good. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு I wish you better, more and more. Sir, please remember one thing. Suppose Shraddha had said, இல்லைங்க, என்னால இதெல்லாம் முடியாது, நான் ட்ரை பண்ணேன், ஆள் இல்லை, I have some work அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருந்தா என்னால ஒன்றும் பண்ணிருக்க முடியாது. I could not have got angry with her. But she went beyond her call and that sentence இன்னும் என் காதுல ஒலிச்சிட்டு இருக்குங்க. Sir has a meeting at 9. I think Adata, most of you have written in your response. Empathy. Do you understand what problem your employee is going through, your customer is going through, your customer's customer is going through? Either manasula vachikiti, if you add, I tell you, the response is going to be completely great. I'm just checking to see if I have left out any response. Yeah, I think I've covered everybody. Thank you for your response. Now, the same question that I asked you, ஒரு McKinsey consultants இருக்காங்க, world famous consultants. They ask thousands of business professionals like you, entrepreneurs, managers, எல்லாத்தையும் கேட்டாங்க. What will make you change? I think, sorry, this is mainly for the employees working in an organization. அது உங்களுக்கும் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். Let's see what was the top response. நான் இப்போ ஆடியோவை நான் மியூட் பண்ணிடுறேன் because I want you to take some time to read all this. ரைட்ல இருந்து வாங்க. அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் அண்ட் கன்விக்ஷன்ல இருந்து இப்படி கிளாக் வைஸா ரீட் பண்ணுங்க. So I'll give you some 2 minutes. So I mute my audio now. Don't think there is no audio. Yes, McKinsey கேட்ட கேள்விக்கு these were the answers received by McKinsey. We'll come from the right. So since you've seen all this, I'll take one by one. I will change my mindset and behavior if. Let's go to the first one. Understanding and conviction. அதுவும் இந்த மாதிரி crisis timeல, are you clear in your communication? Very, very important. Make sure there are no loose ends when you talk to your employees. Because நீங்க எதுவும் clear-ஆ சொல்லாத போது, it becomes very hazy. That's why somebody suggested, let me just go through that. And Mahesh said, when you pay salary on time and you tell them that this is what I can do for this month or next month, people will know very clearly that this is what I can expect. When the communication itself is not clear, I don't know what is happening. As it is, Corona crisis has created a lot of uncertainty. On top of that, if my company management or you as a business owner don't give them the right kind of support, they are likely to think that it is difficult. That's why change story has to be conveyed very clearly. Like I gave you the Saskan example. What is the status now? What is happening? When are we going to do that? Ongoing two-way communication. அதுவும் இந்த மாதிரி சமயத்துல your employees are likely to have a lot of doubts. Will I be sacked? Will I leave? All this. So you must clear these doubts and say, maybe ஒரு 3 மாசம் இதே நிலைமை நீடித்ததுன்னா some people will have to be sacrificed. Please understand what I'm trying to say. Language and ritual, which means your connection has to be even more important when you talk about change management and crisis management. இதுதாங்க fundamental. இதுல என்ன பிரச்சனைன்னா, when my communication is not clear, everything goes beyond. ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது. The next one பார்க்கலாம். சரி, நீங்க சேஞ்சுன்னு சொல்லிட்டீங்க, we all have to gear up அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டீங்க. ஆனா திருப்பியும் அதே மாதிரி தான் போயிட்டு இருக்குமா? Or our structures, processes and systems support the changes I'm being asked to make. So நீங்க உங்க உங்க வரைமுறைகள் அதுலயும் மாற்றம் கொண்டு வந்திருக்கீங்களா, இல்ல திருப்பியும் அதே மாதிரி தான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்களா? So that also becomes a point. As one of you rightly mentioned, will I be getting the skills to manage change? Now, in fact, I have a company, I have a friend in Cochin. He has this boiler deal pandar. He deals with the boilers of, I forget the company's name. A very famous company ki agency எடுத்திருக்காரு. He says, Corona kapra, he is very, very busy because from morning till evening, he is conducting this video training to his employees, reskilling them. Corona முடிஞ்ச உடனே, where are the opportunities? What are the challenges? Technical, relational, adaptive, yoga. In fact, they start with a yoga. யாராவது ஒருத்தர் வந்து he gives counseling, something. He gives all this on a daily basis, and he is out of the meeting only by 8 o'clock in the evening. He says, full day I'm engaged, much more busier than things, which means he has around 75 people in a small setup. But இவர் என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா, I am equipping them so that they don't feel under equipped when the corona crisis is over. Ana, 85% of the people who responded, you know what they say? I am more easily likely to change if the role modeling, if I see a powerful example in front of me, it will be easier for me to change. நீங்க வீட்ல கூட பாருங்க, உங்க பசங்க, they may not listen to what you say, but they'll adopt what you do. It has happened in my own case. I'll give you an example. Now, I picked up a good habit from one of my friends. அதாவது, whenever I call anyone on a cell phone, the first thing I ask is this a good time to talk? Because you may be in a meeting, you may be in some other activity. I have not told this to my son or my wife. என் பையன் ஐடி கம்பெனில பெங்களூர்ல வேலை பார்க்குறான். அன்னைக்கு I heard him talking to his friend. Hey dude, is it a good time to talk? I was so happy. I said, wonderful. He said, yeah, I watched you do that. I thought it's a good habit. So unconsciously, we send a good example by our behavior. இன்னொரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நான் சொல்றேன். Now, Tata company வந்து, they took over Jaguar Land Rover, the famous car company. So what Ratan Tata did, he called for a board meeting of 46 country chief managers இருந்தாங்க இல்லையா. He asked for a meeting in London. Ratan Tata, you know, he ஒரு ordinary commercial aircraft la போய், he got into the airport, he took a cab and reached his hotel, which was definitely star, but not very, very extravagant. But without exception, all the 46 chief of different countries, I mean of Jaguar Land Rover, they took a chartered flight or a private jet to reach London, and they took some limousines or cabs to reach their hotels, which were much above the status of what Ratan Tata was staying. It seems in the meeting, Ratan Tata is obviously, he heard about what Ratan Tata did, and each one of them came by their own, commercial aircraft, and also checked into a modest hotel. இதுதான் சொல்றது ரோல் மாடலிங். நீங்க என்னதான் கரடியா கத்துனாலும், if your action does not suit your words, nobody will follow you. So I think especially in this crisis moment, you can easily influence your team by your action. So that is a very powerful way to influence during change. Now, I'll give you a simple formula. Sorry, organization, a company, I am trying to introduce change. Is there any practical step? I will suggest an excellent book called Managing the Dynamics of Change. That we'll look at it later. நீங்க ரைட் சைட்ல பாருங்க, the J curve of change. நீங்க ஏதாவது ஒரு மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வரும்போது, this is the curve that you will normally see. Now, very briefly, I will explain the curve. Then you can ask me questions about what the stage is. Now, the right side curve பாருங்க. Let's go stage by stage. First வந்து neutral, அதாவது number 1 வந்து come back to the left side, plateau or status quo. அதாவது you are doing well in your business, manufacturing, dealership, whatever it is, high degree of mastery or comfort. You're all bosses, you're all excellent in this field. நீங்க வந்து கொரோனாக்கு எல்லாம் திருப்பி ரீகன்வீன் ஆறதுக்கு அப்புறம் you are making a change announcement. It can be about financial increment or about process. It can be anything or change in the method you work. So first is, like we saw, fear, anger, self-doubt, and people start wondering, where is this going when you introduce? So how to influence Naka? Inform that change will decrease productivity and morale temporarily. Aதாவது, as the boss, what you should tell your employees is, because of this change, I am not expecting you to give me the same sales figures like it was before. I expect sales to decrease, productivity to decrease, and also your mood. So identify smallest barriers. So tell me, what are the doubts that you have, and then I will do it. No, somebody might simply say, I was giving you a cab allowance. Now that's going to be cut because of the situation. I will ask you to take a pass on the electric train or a metro because that is what we can afford now. I'm just telling you, it's something very simple. This is the first stage. When you introduce the change, all this is going to happen. சரி, நீங்க சேஞ்ச் இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணிட்டீங்க, இதெல்லாம் இப்ப இந்த மாதிரி கண்ட்ரோல்லாம் வரணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிருந்தீங்க. When you look at the stage 2, productivity goes down like anything, right? So people start complaining. I knew this will not work. Why did we have to do this? Panic, failure. I'm sure I'm going to lose my job next month. These are the reactions that will come in the second stage. So how do you influence as a boss? Communicate minutest details. And again, tell them that mistakes are expected. Don't panic. We are trying out something new and it's not going to happen overnight. So the method of influence is for the boss, you as the business owner. Slowly, you're beginning to see some kind of small kind of success. Small. So, you know what people will say? No fluke. I still don't know how we are doing this, but somehow it is working. But slowly they start saying, I'm not failing like before. I'm seeing something. Something is happening. Maybe we also can do this. Now the method of influence is cherish small successes. Whenever you come across with small success because of the new change initiative, please publicize this, praise them, and make sure it is known. And again, take any kind of criticism that comes. Now you really start going up. Look at the stage 4. Now you're only climbing and slowly the pre-deployment levels to production vandachi. The salespersons are also giving a lot of uh, inputs. So then the reaction changes. Maybe this is not so bad. We can deal with this. If Zoom Vanda Pro, how many companies are saying, I initially thought it's going to be difficult, but now people are very comfortable. And did you see yesterday's news item? TCS CEO says the working from home, we are going to make it as a standard operating. It is enough if the employee comes to the office only 25% of the time. It is not meant only for big companies, even small companies. I'm just telling, depending on the industry, we can do this. So, in the maritime, let's publicize progress, reinforce reason for change. So, we known that things are working. And finally, you have reached the top. Need a pre-deployment of the sales figures, they're coming back to the previous level. So, you exceeded the previous level. So many things happen. And people are saying, Paravalapa, what we did was great. This is too good. And they start believing this. And once your employees start believing the system, you don't have to do any kind of influence. Don't get very confident. Keep continuously improving and say, this is not the only thing. We can still be doing better. So Varadarajan has a comment. Typically, salespeople are challenged by targets. Post-lockdown, the company and the manager would find it difficult to rejig, so they will sack less performing people. The first to be hit. Isn't this true? In many cases, yes, Varadarajan. But if the management sees that the potential is there for expansion, they may not give them stiff targets for the first 3 months. They may ask for creativity and innovation so that the company can make money in some other way. You already saw that Tirupur, Mr. Chendil Kumar, what is he saying? I may be a garments manufacturer, but I am ready to manufacture PPE equipment. Come to me. So quickly, they are finding different ways of doing things. That's what I mean. Abhita says, my women employees are finding it difficulty to manage housework, no domestic support, children and family to focus on work. Yes, this is a big challenge for housewives because everybody is at home and this multitasking becomes very, very difficult. No. This is where the empathy part comes in. Empathy from the husband, empathy from the wife, so that we divide and share our responsibility so that you don't become a burden. In fact, this is the exact point I was coming to now. Encourage your employees to come out with creative ways of beating this crisis, a different idea, so that the same facility can be used for something different. Now, you all heard of Virgin Airlines. One of their air hostesses was getting married. So she asked for a 3 weeks leave. She went to London. And when she came back, uh, Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Airlines, asked, how did the wedding go? She said, oh, wedding went on fine. But you know something? I had to do everything regarding the wedding, arranging the venue, arranging the caterers, arranging everything. It was such a pain because I was saddled with everything. How I wish we had a wedding planner so that my job would have been easy. And then immediately Richard Branson said, why didn't you start the business? I will fund you. Then she started the business and the Richard Branson came to inaugurate this. And you know what the business venture was? Virgin Brides, obviously. So creativity in your own small way, encourage your employees to become creative, and that is important. Now, don't think this is happening only in the US or Europe or something. Right here in India, I want you to read this and then I'll tell you the context. Every year, the Tata Group conducts an innovation contest. Implemented innovations, piloted technologies, design honor, most innovative partner, and all that. But I want you to pay attention to the second category called Dare to Try, which means you have come out with a drastically new idea and you failed. You will be given an award just because you made that attempt. You will be caught to the stage and you will be given an award. So, in your own small way, if somebody comes out with a drastic idea and fails, don't immediately think he has wasted the company resources. Ask him what lesson did he learn from this and quickly ask him to plow back. In fact, if you want me to conclude, I will say have breakfast or be breakfast. Sorry to say this, it's very harsh. My good friend, Professor Vailar Murthy, a professor at IIMB, said this so beautifully in an article in the Wall Street Journal. Have breakfast or be breakfast. Everybody is waiting to grab the opportunity. Are you going to be blaming? Are you going to be complaining? Or are you going to take the lead and say, I am going to break this cycle? So the choice is yours. The choice is yours. I'd like to end on a positive note. Watch Jurassic Park once again. You will find this very interesting message. Life finds a way. So there I come to the formal part, end of the formal part. So I'd like to take, if there are any questions, please shoot them on the chat window and I'll be happy to answer them if you have any questions. In the meanwhile, many of you have asked me for my credentials. You can note my website, chendil.com. I have a lot of information on influencing change. So you're most welcome to connect with me. My coordinates are there and I'll be happy to answer any questions even after this engagement. In fact, on influencing, I've written 2 blog articles. You may find it useful, but definitely I'd love to connect with you in case you feel. Otherwise, you can contact Tile. They will be able to share my coordinates. So are there any questions, please, before we wind up? Thank you, Varadarajan. If there are no questions, only 2 things are possible. Oh, sorry. If we are a startup, how do we handle the situation? Uh, like I told you, this is from Jayanti Rao. Now, please remember, all the points that I've given are from the startup side also. As a startup, how can you encourage your people to be creative, do lateral thinking? Each one of the points, if you see, I'll be happy to share it with Ty, and who will be able to send this to you. So everything is not only meant for large corporations, and it is meant for others also. Jagdishan wants, so I will send this. I am typing it now in the chat window. Please visit toastmasters.org. I think for every entrepreneur, this is important because you need to communicate with your clients, with your employees. And many of us, although we have clear ideas, we are not able to convey our ideas very clearly. Join Toastmasters, take it, definitely thank me for this. In every city, almost every cities of Tamil Nadu, you have Toastmasters. Please check and then say find a club, you will be able to get the members. Thank you, Raji. Raghuraman says, all the trained employees are going out due to some reasons. What to do? Now, this is a common problem in startups, Raghuraman. Because startups, the good thing is you get a lot of exposure, you get a lot of experience. And the moment they get that experience, the bigger companies are waiting to grab them because they have already been trained at somebody else's cost. You have to accept this as an occupational hazard or give them such good, not financial incentives, give them a sense of pride to work and independence so that they will never get this kind of independence and ownership once they go to a large company. So I think you have to, but let us admit this is not an easy answer. You will have to keep your funnel going so that as these people go, you have to take next people. Thank you, Jayanti Rao. Yes, as Utpal says, the principles are applicable everywhere as leadership is needed. Exactly. That's exactly what Professor John Cotter says. Thank you, Gautam. Jagdishan, that books on change management, I think I've given a list on the slide. You just have to type John Cotter. You will get then one more question by Vardarajan. Now people are used to work from home. We feel it is comfortable, but maybe the productivity could have dipped a bit. Can companies innovate their process and strategies to improve productivity and efficiency for work from home employees? Well, Vardarajan, you know, since Corona has struck everybody without any exception, people still haven't got adjusted to the new normal. So it is obvious that there are some productivity issues. But I think once this flattens out, once we get a clear idea how we are going to function, these things will once again be sorted out. It may take some time. That's all. Santosh says, I was an RJ and public speaker during undergraduation. I would like to learn more and reach more public speaking and create myself as a brand. Please join Toastmasters. Which area do you live in? I told you, no. Visit toastmasters.org and click on Find a Club. And you will find so many clubs listed in your area. Join one of them. In fact, combined with your RJ talent and some structured public speaking, you will be an outstanding combination. Yes. Ramesh, global trade connections. Adaptability is important for exactly. In fact, this entire seminar for 2 hours is all about adaptability. Have breakfast or be breakfast. That's all. If you don't adapt, you will be simply bought over by somebody else and you will find that you're irrelevant in things. What happened to Nokia, sir? You must have heard this example many times. At one point of time, they had some 76% of the market share and they were not able to adapt to the smartphone culture and the software. And you see where they are now. Adaptability. You got the right word. Adaptability is the key and faster adaptability. That's important in change management. Thank you, Raghuraman. Well, I think there are no more questions. So if there are no more questions, I think we'll, oh, wait 1 second. Venkat Ramani, what kind of safety nets need to be created by startups for effective change, sir? Well, depending on the industry, see, coronavirus has exposed all safety nets. People who thought we are immune to any kind of crisis are all thrown out in the open. So, like they say, you have to revisit and say, what can I do? So again, I don't think it is in our control, but maybe what companies, especially startups, are going to do now, if I understand right, they're going to be very extremely, what do you call, thoughtful in cutting down their expenses, because that's the only way they can survive in the future. So you may have to think of strategies. I mean, all this not right now, because now things are not yet very clear. You are just doing firefighting. Let's manage today. But once everything returns to the new normal, then you will get a lot of clarity, Venkatram. I know your restaurant, the restaurant business, the travel business, the holiday business, all this is going through a change. My friend in Bangalore opened a very nice office recently, inviting hundreds of people. Within 2 days, this lockdown was announced. Now he's not keeping quiet. What he does is he has a list of so many customers. He keeps sending some interesting information about travel, which means he says Indian Museum online. Don't think your travel has to be stopped. Indian Museums online. Please visit. He sends this link. And many customers have replied saying that my kids are finding it extremely enjoyable. Thank you. So he is still maintaining that connect with the customer. Don't lose the connect with the customer just because there is corona. So I think it's a good time to close this business with a huge thanks, because there are no more. Thank you so much for your participation. I think a lot of questions came in, and this is all reflects the anxiety that you have. So thank you once again. I request Praveena or Priya to bring this session to a close. And thank
Yes,
you
sir.
so much for participating. And thanks, Tai. Yeah.
So, on behalf of TIE Chennai, the participants, and our members, sir, I would like to thank you for doing this. It was a wonderful session. I'm sure our participants would have found great value
Thank you.
from the session. I've already started getting a lot of messages.
Thank you.
They've
Thank you so
already
much.
started thanking me for the session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
for
you.
the session. So,
Th-
thanks again,
Thank
sir.
you.
It was a
Thank
wonderful
you.
session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So take care, stay safe, and stay healthy, all of you. Thank you, Kumar.
Sure, sir. I'll be closing the